Hello and welcome to National Focus. I'm Daryl Titt. In the headlines, China hands over 3 major bridges along Eo-Libla Highway, 130 new appointments for the public service, and National Disaster Coordinator says proper preparation is key for the hurricane season. Details of these stories and more when we return. Welcome back. Access along the Eo-Libla Highway has been significantly improved with the commissioning of 3 major bridges at a ceremony on Monday, July 13. The government of the People's Republic of China handed over to the government of Dominica the $50 million rehabilitated Eo-Libla Highway, which was damaged through Tropical Storm Erica. Shakira Peer reports.
The ceremony was well attended by government officials and villagers from the neighboring communities who were excited for this new infrastructural development which will serve the people of the west and north of the island. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit thanked the government of the People's Republic of China for its continued support to Dominica, as Dominica also continues to support the One China policy.
Thank the government and people of the People's Republic of China for their continued demonstration of friendship to the people and government of Dominica. When I took the solemn decision to establish diplomatic relations with China in 2004, I did so because, one, I always felt that there was but one China, and that Dominica needed to adhere and respect international law, because in international law there is but one China. So when you hear we say we support the One China principle, we're in fact adhering to historical fact, but also international law. And so, Ambassador, again, rest assured that this government, which I have the honor to lead, will always adhere and respect the One China principle.
Prime Minister Skerrit is grateful to the government of the People's Republic of China for financing this project. He says the financing allowed the government to spend local resources in other key areas.
Today we are here to commission 3 important bridges that would have cost the government a significant sum, more than likely by way of a loan. And this gift to us means that it will allow us to use this fund that we would have used otherwise for other economic and social developmental programs and projects.
Minister for Public Works and the Digital Economy, Honorable Kasani Laville, says the Dominica Labour Party government has brought about change in Dominica's development even with the global economic challenges.
We must tell everyone what we witnessed, and I will surely help you to put this into context. Tell the writers of history that several areas along the West Coast Road were damaged during the passage of Tropical Storm Erica in August of 2015. Tell them that just a few months after this disaster, a technical team from the People's Republic of China arrived on island and carried out feasibility studies which were completed in January of 2016. Let us recall that on November 24th of 2016, an implementation agreement was signed between the Ministry of Commerce of the People's Republic of China and the Ministry of Public Works and Ports for the China-aided West Coast Road Post-Erica Rehabilitation Project for over $50 million.
Minister Laville gave the scope of the project.
The project involved the rehabilitation of damaged areas along the 45-kilometer Eo-Libla Highway, formerly known as the West Coast Road, to include construction of 3 new bridges, namely Marquishery, Battery, and Point Round. Rehabilitation of 13 culvert crossings, rehabilitation of 26 areas that included road edge, subgrade and pavement failures, 7 areas of improvement of drainage systems, and installation of safety features such as guardrails, road markings, and signage.
The Eo-Libla Highway was first rehabilitated by the People's Republic of China and was handed over in 2012. The rehabilitation of this road cost over $100 million. Ambassador of the People's Republic of China, His Excellency Lu Kun, says China is pleased to work collaboratively with the government of Dominica and will continue to assist the country in any way possible. He says the commissioning of these bridges is a celebration for the people of Dominica.
I think this road is also a road of the cooperation, a road of the development, and also a road of the friendship between China and the Dominic.
Shakir Pear reporting for the Government Information Service.
Illegal drugs confiscated by the police have been destroyed following the conclusion of related matters at the Magistrates' Court. This as 4,000 pounds of cannabis weed and over 400 pounds of cocaine was set ablaze at the police facility in Monbruce. Head of the Drug Squad Unit, Inspector Charles Dominica, listed the other drugs which were also destroyed.
So in my possession, I know we have plants, 3,400 plants. Well, you may not see the plants now because they are dried. Cannabis weeds, 4,562.3 pounds. Cannabis cigarettes, well, something ridiculous, but yes, we have 13 cannabis cigarettes in there. Cannabis seeds, we have 11 pounds. Cannabis resin, 6.2 pounds. And cocaine, we have 446.1 pounds of cocaine. So that would be the total weight of the cocaine, 446.1 pounds. The total weight of the cannabis weed, including the seeds, is 4,596.3 pounds. So what we have there is these are matters that has been disposed by the court. So we are now going to dispose them by burning.
Inspector Dominic says the COVID-19 pandemic has not affected the operations of the Drug Squad Unit.
The drug activity has never ceased during COVID. Continued shipments going to and fro. So it has never ceased. Never ceased. The only thing about it is because of the restriction of movements of individuals. However, these people still find a way to transact their transaction because criminal, there are no boundaries for them. There are no borders either. So they will continue doing what they have to do. We still go out there, still do what we have to do the same way as normal. Precautions, yes, we know, if you notice, we might have some face masks, gloves. We would assess the situation before actually taking up action. So it's a little tedious, but then, like they say, we still have to do what we have to do.
Meantime, National Drug Abuse Prevention Officer Mrs. Crefina James, she outlined initiatives taken by the National Drug Prevention Unit to mitigate against the use of illegal drugs. Turney says the Drug Abuse Prevention Unit aims to reduce the use of drugs amongst individuals from the initial stages of their lives.
National Drug Abuse Prevention Unit, our mandate deals with prevention rather than the police deals with supply reduction. And as we know, we go to the different schools and we try to delay first use. That is because what we have observed is that the later in life somebody starts to use any type of drugs, they'll be less dependent or addicted to that substance. That's why we deal with prevention.
She outlined initiatives taken by the National Drug Prevention Unit to mitigate against the use of illegal drugs.
We work from the preschool level, that we go to the different preschools, and we also have a preschool manual that we have at present we are supposed to be updating it, and then we have the different lesson plans for the preschoolers where they do different subjects, but at a certain point we teach them drug prevention in the different lesson plans. At the primary school we have the grade 4 students who attend the drug education workshop every year. However, this year because of COVID that was a different story, so the grade 4 students who are now moving to grade 5 did not participate in this activity. But what we usually do, if they do not participate, We usually go to the individual schools when they reach in grade 5, and we do that workshop because we prepare them to be part of the peer helpers program at their schools.
Proper planning and preparation for disaster management efforts is necessary when facing the hurricane season. So says National Disaster Coordinator Mr. Fitzroy Pascal. Mr. Pascal says proper planning is required by all if they wish to protect their lives, property, and in some cases, businesses.
It is always necessary to plan. When you plan, you assess your situation, and coming out of your assessment, you will decide what you need to do and who should do it and how you should go about doing it. Everyone should have a plan in terms of securing their life first, and then their property, and even the business places in terms of business continuity. They should ensure that they have these plans. So in terms of planning, you should have the basic necessities. For those of us who live close to waterways, you should have an evacuation plan, and you should know what you have to stock up on your basic necessities, and also your surroundings in terms of, or if you have overhanging trees, you should make sure that these are cut.
Mr. Pascal listed some essential items that every individual needs and should obtain in case of a pending disaster.
I know that everyone would have disaster management in Dominica should be by now routine. So your basic kit should involve water, 3 days supply. You should have non-perishable food items. And also your radio, your lanterns, if you have emergency lighting, generators, fuel for your generators. You should have some cash on hand. Also safeguard your documents, your various documents. And if you have any medication, if you have any medical needs, you should also ensure that you are stocked up on medication.
You're watching National Focus. More when we return.
Scary! Everything just shaking and making big creaky noises.
Earthquakes, big and small, take place in the Caribbean at least 10 times a year.
The dishes rattling and falling and breaking, then Vonnie started to scream.
All I could think to do was shout, "Get outside, get out!"
Earthquakes, hazards, take control, reduce your loss. If an earthquake hits, what can you do? Get down, get under an item of furniture like a table. Hold on and stay there until the quake passes. Find out lots more about earthquakes and other hazards at your local disaster office. A message from your National Disaster Office and SEDERA.
Welcome back. Minister with responsibility for the public service, Honorable Greta Roberts, has announced 130 new appointments in the public service. For the past months, her ministry processed and submitted recommendations to the Public Service Commission for approval for different categories of public officers. Minister Roberts says she expects these appointments to be made very soon.
This includes 60 in the teaching service. 60. A lot of them, you know.
60.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
To include principals, qualified teachers, and the graduate teachers. We have 30 junior clerks.
Yeah.
That's a promise kept.
That's right.
Because we had promised them that we'll do something. And then we still have about 40 or more so officers from general positions within the service. So all these have been submitted.
So 130, if my maths is correct, 130 positions.
Yeah.
Before the Public Service Commission.
Before the Public Service Commission. So these people can expect appointment.
Minister Roberts reminded public officers that this is an ongoing process and encouraged patience during this time.
We are asking our officers to exercise a level of patience whilst we continue to work on the.
But 130 is good news. I mean, it's great news. 130 positions to be filled within the public service at a time when many countries are cutting back on the number of public officers that they have in the public service. And I think this government must be commended for the efforts.
The minister called on all public officers to have a committed attitude which will enhance the quality of service delivered by the public service.
What we need now is a committed workforce. People who are eager and willing to work towards improving the public service. The onus, therefore, is on every public officer, I think, to make it almost emotional investment to ensure that what we are planning to do can really take root and blossom. So I am appealing to all public officers in all 16 ministries and all 5 departments within the public service to strive towards greater efficiency and effectiveness in the service. Let us stay committed to the task. Let us exude enthusiasm in all we do, especially in the delivery of our services to the public.
In more news, Minister for Trade, Entrepreneurship, Innovation, Business and Export Development, Honorable Ian Douglas, believes that Dominica has the resources to compete in larger export markets. Minister Douglas says that his ministry will be working closely with the Ministry of Blue and Green Economy, Agriculture and National Food Security to improve Dominica's food production, which will in turn boost Dominica's export capacity. According to the minister, work will also be done to revamp Dexia and the pack houses all over the country.
We too in the Ministry of Trade are supporting the Ministry of Agriculture from the production end. We're taking care of the export and also of the local markets. So I think we are well placed. Like you said, we're restructuring Dexia, the whole philosophy, the whole ideology behind pushing the fresh produce from Dominica, not only on our local plates, but on the foreign markets. And I believe we have the shipping in place to do it. We have the pack houses that will give us the standards and put our produce out there in a form and in a structure that will make it appealing, will make it exciting, will make it be able to compete with all of the other foreign products in the region. So we're very, very excited about the new thrust as we go forward.
The Ministry of Blue and Green Economy, Agriculture and National Food Security continues to assist young persons involved in fishing and farming. Minister with responsibility for the Blue and Green Economy, Agriculture and National Food Security, Honorable Fidel Grant, says, over the years, the government has made considerable investments in the fishing sector.
In terms of benefits from the government over the years, in terms of fishing, we have seen substantial investment in terms of boats. So for instance, over the last 5 years, we had several boats being built locally, and these cost in the region of between $20,000 and $30,000. We would also provide engines to the young fishermen. So for a young fisherman deciding to go into fishing, you would have received a $35,000 investment in the initial stages. So what does that mean? On your first catch, you could now save money, feed your family, and have money set aside for fuel without any overheads outside of what you would have on a daily basis, because you have no loan. And these are the kind of investments the government has been making in terms of fishing.
Minister Grant says that his ministry is working with the Ministry of Lands to provide lands for young farmers who do not own lands. These state lands will be leased to the farmers at $1 per annum.
As it is now, there is still money available at the Aid Bank at 2%. So persons who are interested could apply under that facility. A lot of the young people have been complaining that we do not have lands, or I do not have access to lands. We have been working with the Ministry of Lands to identify areas that have been designated for farming. So if a young person, for instance, in the area of Wesleywood Fotel is interested in farming, they could fill out an application with lands and surveys, and then a piece of land of 2-3 acres could be assigned to them for that purpose. So we provide you with low-cost financing, we provide you with the land, and occasionally we provide you with input.
And now for your weather update. Weak, unstable conditions are expected to produce occasional cloudiness, scattered showers, and a slight chance of isolated thunderstorm activity, mainly across the northern and central portions of the island chain during the next 24 hours. Dust haze will persist across the Lesser Antilles over the next few days, resulting in a reduction in visibility and air quality. People with respiratory illnesses are advised to continue to take the necessary precautions to avoid complications. Slight to moderate seas are expected during the next 24 hours, with waves peaking near 7 feet. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, as well as on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here at the Government Information Service News Production Team, I'm Daryl Tipp. Thank you for watching.